Hi guys, so this video is 5 things to do if you think your family tree is full part 2. So you don't have to watch part 1 to watch part 2. If you want to, you can watch part 1 and then part 2, but they're actually kind of like 2 separate videos. They're both just giving you ideas. So don't worry about having to watch part 1 before watching part 2. Heck, you can watch part 2 and then go to part 1. Doesn't really matter. This is just a list of 5 things that I thought would be helpful. They're not in any particular order. So, also in the description below are more in-depth videos about the 5 things we're going to talk about. So let's get started. Number 1, recommended tasks. So when you first log into Family Search, there's actually a box near the top right-hand corner on that main page that actually gives you a list of tasks that it recommends you do, such as sources that need to be connected on your tree, or people who are missing information, or people who actually have ordnance work that needs to be done. So do what's on the recommended task. It's right there. It's tasks that it recommends to you. It's really easy. And it's always going to find something that your tree needs. So kind of a no-brainer, but thought I'd list it. Number 2, add memories. So sometimes we get so focused on finding names, date, places, and going up our family tree that we forget to add memories. Adding memories is a big thing for me. I believe that adding memories is something that helps us turn our hearts to our fathers. It helps the future generations get to know who their ancestors were and know where they come from, and help break those family barriers and get to realize they're not the only one who are suffering through these problems. Their ancestors suffered through them. If their ancestors can do it and live happy lives and happy, successful lives, then so can they. So don't forget to add memories of your grandparents or of you or your kids. Put those on Family Search so that future generations can know about their ancestors. Number 3, double check. So this one's kind of a little silly one in my opinion, but it's also very important. Check dates, places, and names. More dates and places. Double check to make sure that those are correct. It does happen a lot that we accidentally put in the wrong dates or we connect to the wrong people. For me, I know on one of my ancestors, what was written on the headstone was actually not the correct death date, but what was written on the death certificate is the correct death date, and people keep swapping it back and forth between what was written on the headstone and what was written on the death certificate. So we have to put in a note saying, hey, the death certificate's correct, please don't follow the headstone. The headstone was made incorrectly and nobody's cared to fix the headstone. So sometimes we put in wrong dates and places, and it's great for us to go through and make sure those information is correct, so that we don't run into any data problems or that we actually have the correct information. So just go through and double check everything. Number 4, local archive. I put this one on this list because a lot of things are not indexed. There's a lot of records and sources that aren't indexed or even digitalized. So you need to go to your local archive building or the local archive building for where your ancestor lived and go through all those records, those marriage records there, or newspaper records that they have there. They do have newspapers. Or any sources that you might think of that you need for your ancestors, because they will more than likely be at the local archive building. I know here in Utah they're either at the Utah State Archive building or they're at the Salt Lake City Library in downtown, the big half circle one, the archway. So if you need information about your ancestors, that's where to go. I know for my husband's side of the family, there's actually like some birth and marriage records that I would love to have a copy for, and being able to find those records would extend part of his family tree, but they're in Alabama. They're not even indexed, or they don't even have digital copies online of those sources, and the only way for me to get them is to actually go to Alabama or that city in Alabama and go through their archive building and find those marriage and birth certificates that I would love to have. So if you have the times and means to travel, I recommend that. Or if your ancestors are local, go to your local archive building and go and look up records that are not even digitalized. Number 5, DNA testing. So if you think your family tree is full and you really have nothing else to do, I recommend getting a DNA test. I've heard that it actually opens a lot of doors and opportunities if you go and get an ancestor DNA test. My husband and I are actually in the middle of the process of doing DNA testing, and I'm hoping as soon as the DNA testings come out that I can start an ancestor DNA series here on honoring our past and be able to help you guys understand DNA testing and figure out what ones work best for you, what to do once you get your DNA test done, and what opportunities it opens up for you. So in the future, I hope to have a lot of videos. I can link here in the description below for this section, but I hear it opens a lot of doors and opportunities, and I recommend this new experience. So this is my list of 5 things to do if you think your family tree is full that is not indexing. I hope this list was helpful. Also remember that in the description below are links to more in-depth videos. So if you liked one of the things I talked about, go to the description below and watch a more in-depth video on how to do those things. If you have any questions, please comment below. I'll try to get back to you as soon as I can. Also, if you have any recommendations on what I should film or talk about, please list that in the comment section below. And I hope you all have a beautiful week. Bye!